Everyone. Good morning. How are you? I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. And hopefully I gave you a lot to think about yesterday and beginning to get to know your higher self. So I hope some of you could feel that energy and are beginning to work with it. Good. Good morning to Chase and Carol. Thanks for coming. And Kathy Marino. Good morning. And Cavell. Well, first we're going to do our soul mantra, because the more we get used to knowing that every day you're doing it, the more you will become it. So all together, I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. And we'll breathe that down into every cell to awaken. I wonder if anyone knows what I am will means. You know, we all have will. God's given us free will that we can either have your egotistical human will or you can surrender to God's will. So in that state, when it uses I am before it, it is I have surrendered to God's will. And the will centers are the back chakras. So something to contemplate if you're healing and can have that thought of where are you at in that chakra about will and perhaps resistance. But I did receive a topic for today. We're going to talk about respect. And good morning, Marby. Glad you made it here. So unless you ask questions, it's going to be kind of one-sided, but I'd like to hear what some of you think about respect. And we really won't know how you are about respect unless, and you might want to even have a notebook out, and this is something you might want to work on in your individual private time. What does that word mean to you? And it's curious. Who taught you about respect? Was it your parents? Was it school? Grandparents? All of it will determine a different effect it has upon you. And what does respect really mean? Well, respect and honor go very close together here. But when someone has gained their respect, it's that you can begin to trust their word. And you can feel the immense wisdom they hold about life, about various situations, that they are living their talk, you know. So, respect. We can respect everyone that's in our life, but I think sometimes that respect will be different for different people. Because while you're on the journey, it's kind of like observing you. How do you feel about this person? Certainly, children should be raised to have respect for their parents. Not something we so often see every day. I do see in the younger people coming in now, they happen to have a greater respect than perhaps in the middle, maybe in the 70s, 80s, those years, not to be judgmental. But we have to ask ourselves, why would that be different? Why is it from the pandemic, even though how some people think it was this horrible thing, maybe it recreated family and understanding what it was like to be there with everyone. And here's Chase. Her parents taught her to respect and honor elders. There you are. Very good. Now, I want to talk to you to increase it to people you meet, and especially to people in spirit that come to you that deserve it. You know, we have to go through a process first in creating a protective energy around yourself. But when finally someone who you aren't aware of comes to you, you want to know who they are. And you want to be able to feel that frequency, that vibration they hold. And is it of and one that deserves respect? Is there love there? Well, you know already, I'm all about love. So I can feel and experience love miles away. But we want that to be developed for you. What love can feel like in many various ways, depending on who you are. And as you evolve, it will grow. And as you grow, there will be like a lace of honey in it, like wisdom, because that's when it becomes the magic. It's when the love has wisdom. And then it's the love within your heart that you can trust, for it will have a knowingness. So you see, there's no mistake that there's such a period of time that you must all go through to evolve. And how long and where and how that works is all individual and in your blueprint. But if there's challenges in respect, you got to know it's going to show up in that blueprint, because it's going to be over again and over again and over again. And this is the next thing I was going to say, Cavell. Because apparently, for these people, as she says, in order to respect others, we first have to respect ourselves. And that's absolutely right. And do you respect yourself, and where do you? And are there little nicks or crannies where you don't? And the blueprint will show you that. Yes, not that you all can possibly see it, but knowing it exists lets you have a belief in it. That word believe is so powerful, and I know it keeps coming up, but you have to ask yourself continually, maybe once a week, really, what do I believe? How strong is my belief and my faith in that which I can't see? So as sight emerges, and it becomes that you can see, it's a wondrous thing to be there with someone when their third eye opens for the first time. And it's like a movie screen, but it's within their eye. It's a powerful thing. And that happening makes it be a belief. Just as when your heart feels like it's going to burst, and it's almost like a hurt. There's so much love you want to give. All these things are powerful things to really contemplate. But we have to look and support healing the disrespect in our world. You know, and it's not just children. Somehow children slip through, and there's a lot of adults that have disrespect. And it is very disheartening. And then they wonder why the world isn't working for them, why life is difficult and challenging, and why, there's just a lot of whys and a lot of blames. And that I would wish to not have happen for you. So, if you can come to the understanding about respecting yourself and understanding that the gift you have within you is that light of God and Mother that comes within. And they deserve the highest respect. They stood in the universe when there was nothing else, and finally Mother found God, and the voice is that which created. And she held heart, and the heart and Father joined together and created and started all the angels. So, are they all miracles? Of course they are. Every little sweet being born is a miracle. And where and when did we ever stop thinking that? So may it be so, and may it be known and redefined in our world, no matter where they live. You know. So I don't mean to go off topic. It's just things come as they do. So respect. I want you to write down what you respect about yourself. Is it your spirituality? And if so, is it your sight? How you hear frequency? How you feel? Because I want you to have a greater awareness in how to honor yourself. And what about yourself do you still question? Everybody does. You know, until you've taken the next vow to become that ascended being, there's always a question, always a doubt. Doubt is here in the third dimensional world unless that you have chosen to live in the fifth. Fifth dimension doesn't have doubt anymore, but we are still drawn to it at times, like those who are drawn to liquor, you know, but we can hopefully begin to turn away from it. But even Merlin will say that when he comes down to earth, he has difficulty with doubt in the third dimension. It's so powerful. So part of what today's about is, how are you with that doubt? And what do you doubt? You know, you have a lot of things that you observe, and just on this miraculous experience of YouTube and all those things, what do you believe and what do you don't? And what do you doubt? Where inside you do you go to find that answer? Or do you? You can't just let the ego mind try to figure it out. First thing that must happen is your ego mind must be placed down into the wisdom of your heart. People who have a lot of degrees, that's all wisdom from this era of time. The great wisdom is having what you have in your heart throughout lifetimes, and which will grow and give you greater access as you develop. So don't let yourself get confused of the limitation that this is all there is. The greater you work on raising your consciousness, the greater the opportunity to really have the vision or perception that there is yet so much more to know. So at this point, I am convinced. I know there's going to always be more, and it's always going to be overwhelmingly amount of beauty and love for me, and I have no doubt. And it happens that way. So it's best not to expect it and then allow it to happen. Be in the surrendered will of God and know in its perfect timing it will come to you, and it will. And please don't get hung up in wanting to be someone else. For every one of those little miracles of a child come in with what is perfect for them, which is you. Gifts, abilities are hidden underneath your patterns. And that's why it's important to be healing and to working and loving yourself. In those 144,000 parts of you, there are great experiences of truth hidden. And you hid them there under the distortions that have happened in the world to you through lifetimes. So as you take care and unravel them, you're going to discover all of a sudden, when the light comes down through your crown, you can feel it through every cell of your being. And it's wonderful. And that's when belief takes another whole level of awareness. When you can feel it, when you can see it, when you can speak it, all of it makes it real. When you can radiate it and know and see that people are touched by it. Let it be your love that they feel. In fact, allow it to be that you are simply the vessel for Mother and Father, and it's their love that moves through you. I was once asked, TheoSophia, what does it feel like to have and give powerful healings like you do? And I had to make it very clear. When I work, it isn't my humanness. It is Mother and Father who work with people, who bring in that light and touch people and help them change their lives. So I would offer to all of you to know that you have the capacity, because you're here, to become a chosen one, to be a vessel for God. And in the humility of the surrender, there's a great power of light that's given to you to live with in your world. So, do we have any more questions about all these awarenesses of conversation? I was thinking earlier of Shasta when I was waiting for this to come on. And you know how you're aware of orbs that are round, right? And you can see them. Probably not today. I don't usually have orbs. But and that's only because I have a lot of protection up to not allow them in. So when we went to Shasta, we expected round orbs, right? And when we go, the orbs in Shasta are diamonds shaped. Very unique. And I see Carol's on. She can tell you she was with us. And they came up on the pictures, all kind of beautiful colors and movement. Absolutely an amazing thing. And if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, you probably wouldn't believe it. But I was sitting here thinking and asking, what is the meaning then of the diamond shape? And I received an answer. You know, it's a four-sided upside-down cone with flat in the middle and the four sides to the point on the bottom. And if you sit yourself in the middle on that piece of glass, that's where happiness is. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can allow yourself to be in peace. So, very powerful. Simple little things like that. We went to the redwoods and it was just all over them. So the world is trying to speak out to people. We're here. We're helping you. Look here. Certainly waterfalls, which is why there's so many beautiful waterfalls of different levels of quality, because the talos below it. And the waterfalls take you down into their world and what they had waterfalls for. And I recently got a picture from my friend that I work with in Switzerland. There's a couple of them. And they went to visit the waterfall there, and they could only tolerate the light coming from that waterfall for 20 minutes. It was like 50 foot tall. I could feel the, what do you call them, ions coming off that image just from watching the video. So what we need to do is respect Mother and look around. What's around you that you're ignoring? Maybe it's the clouds or the sky. Maybe it's water near you. But you have to understand that is a part of you also. And it needs respect and honoring and allowing it to be from your heart that you want it to know it can thrive and live with you around it. Great miracles can happen when you really begin to own all the parts of you, that 144,000 pieces. And great perceptions come in your third eye when you allow it, number one, to become open and to see that which you can't see. Interesting way to say it, right? For there is a different world. There's many of them. So being on this journey and having your third eye open to you and your throat chakra, which is the seat of God within you, allows many things that you may not have even been aware of to come and to embrace you, talk to you. So it is all fascinating, isn't it? Any questions here this morning? I just feel so much up in the light. Yes, we started with respect and honor. It's interesting to me to ask you where you are. Where is God and Mother for you? Is God in heaven and Mother in the earth? Or where are they? Are they alive? Do you believe they are with you every moment? What would the conversation be? My experience, and please don't want to just take my answers and make them yours. Mother and God live within my heart. I know they have a home at the great central sun, but I know they can be everywhere in any minute. So they can be in my heart, they can be with you, they can be wherever they feel need. And they are actually with you all the time, watching you, seeing what you're doing with your free will, and forgiving you immediately if you've had to learn a lesson or go down a different track. It is the self we must forgive, not that God needs to forgive you. The innocents in the world sit at the feet of God. Just think about that. Those who are innocent and pure sit at the feet of God. Oh, Cavell, now aware that we do not only respect people, but we should also respect things around us. Yes, in other words, let respect be your middle name. Do you ever hear that comment? That's what my mother would say. You want to learn something? Let it be your middle name. Because then you are with it all the time. And you love it and embrace it and allow it to grow. Even the trees, they're alive. They're so alive. We would see so many things, even in the trees. I want to think of an example. But, here's Kathy. I believe Father God and Mother God surround us with light and love. Excellent. So I want you to start, perhaps if you want, to call them down into your heart and see how that feels. Just ask from the great central sun and the clear light of God. Ask that Mother, Father come visit you down in your heart and see how that feels. Because what's outside is inside. Remember, the earth is within us. It's all a lot of illusion. And that's what this world that we are seeing each other in right now is an illusion. And why we get confused. But that confusion is good. The confusion lets us and takes us to clarity. So the ray one, the blue ray, that which is all around me, is the will to do. It's actually one of the most challenging rays to live on because it's constantly thrown at you. Well, what are you willing to do? And if you've had training in healing, you know you cannot do a healing unless the person you're doing it on is willing, because their being and consciousness won't accept it. So willing is a very powerful word to contemplate and to begin to understand. The will to do. So, back in the beginning of the solar system, Mother and God came to Ray 1. The Elohim is El Moreh. Hercules is there. Yes, and asked if they'd be willing to help and be a beginning part to creating a solar system. And they said yes, along with 6 other Elohim. And they're still saying yes today and tomorrow because we wouldn't be here if they didn't. Now, each one of those rays have another whole experience of work for inside of you to understand and to learn. How are you about decisions? Everybody's always different. Are you indecisive? Then you may need a little bit more blue ray, the will to do. And you have to look at why aren't you willing to do? You see? Second ray is yellow. It's the perception through the third eye and the seeing of illumination. And whatever it is you see, illuminated even more. But yellow, I have to. The yellow ray is beautiful. She wants me to show her to you. Well, the blue got to look. That's true. The third ray is white. Nope. Orion, pink ray. And it's about all the love. Yes, pink ray, Orion. Yeah. Can you feel the frequency and vibration of that? Oh, so powerful. Fourth ray, it is clarity. It is the white ray. It is that complete purity that came about to have our world come about. And then there's the fifth ray. And he is Hilaron, the son of Sinak Kamara. Yes, green ray. And he is about whatever healing might be needed to offer it. Yeah, you see my fields flushing because I'm very close to Sinak Kamara, and it's very touching for me to see his son, Hilaron, Atapashe, in that green ray. The sixth ray is ruby red, and gold. Now, how about that for a twist? It always makes me think of a candy cane, how that energy moves. You may see it differently, but it's about peace. Yes, peace that we want to have radiate throughout the earth, within our being, through all things, is the sixth ray. Lots to learn there, right? But it can be done. It will be done. On earth as in heaven, right? And the seventh ray is, you got it, Saint Germain, Violet, Arcturus. To purify and to clear whatever may be necessary to let go. So those 7 beings hold the thought to keep this whole energy in the stars, in the earth, working. Plausible for us. So we're not alone. They're all managing it every day. The will to do. He said, I'm willing to do that, and gathered other people to help hold it. So, can it be so difficult that we cannot learn to be willed to do our spirituality, right? The challenges are just that. They're not devastating. Healing is about having the courage to look at it and know that it's a wisp, and the love has the ability to just make it invisible. And that is the simplicity of it. While there are those that are very deep and have to be found and encouraged to come forward because they've been hidden for so long. So, there you go. Information about all the rays, a little bit, a teaser. Yeah, the diamond orbs. Now, don't mistake me. We also could see little alien ships. We even have some pictures that show old ancient Indians still over in the corner hammering the log. It's quite amazing what we've seen. When you're in that place, the world opens up to you and is willing to share. The waterfalls in Shasta, one of them, has 500-year-old water that pours through it. And we have pictures from one day it was a redhead boy, like a teenager, to fish and animals you've never seen before. And it's a way they get into our world. Quite fascinating, quite fascinating. So, any questions here before I go? What did I talk about that encouraged you inside? Looks like some may have left, but I never know who. Anybody? Yes, and even though you aren't in the specific location today, it is all within you, remember. All of it lies within you and your inner dimensional self. And Mother and Father are always around you. And there's so many pieces and parts and many angels and all who actually are around you all the time that you can come to know. So, no question, no comment this afternoon. What is it, afternoon now? No, it's still morning. The strongest gift we have, and it's coming stronger into the earth all the time, is the light, God's light, Mother's light. Okay. Do we picture the colors in our mind eyes for assistance? Let's see. The ray colors. You could. I would bring any color in through your crown and out into every cell. And that's going to get you a greater flavor of the sensation. So do that for a moment, which one you're drawn to, and let me know how that felt. So Deb Marsh, good morning. I don't believe I know you. So subscribe, and I'm going to answer your question. Did my friend Diana have a peaceful crossing? So I'm going to give clarity that I do more of a master level work, but I'm going to ask those around me to receive your answer, all right? And not only are they saying yes, but she is at this time with her teachers, and there are archangels with her family and those who loved her to make it an easier experience. But she is fine. She is quite curious about it all. Okay? I hope that helps you. Um, let's know it's always a celebrative time for people who move on. Our human self doesn't always understand that. But yes, she's just in a different dimension, moving, always moving. Okay. So, Kathy, how did that feel? She was a teacher, so the curiosity makes sense. Oh, yes. They will probably help her find a job teaching in some way someone so she'll feel fulfilled. That's how it works. You're welcome. Okay. It felt good. Good. Meaning you would do it again. It wasn't like I want you to work with calling that light of God down in your crown and through you and have it go into your heart and out your hands. Yes, I'm going to tell you right now. Everybody, if you haven't been working with light, central sun, clear light down to your heart, comes up over your shoulders and out your hands. And the more you can get it running through you, the more powerful it will be and the more sensitive your feeling nature will become, which is also connected to the root, but let's start here. Yes, need to work on it. That's a good way to put it. And sometimes you can be working on all of a sudden it goes whoop, and you wonder, well, where's the person that just didn't know how? It's an amazing experience. Okay. They're telling me to do it again. It's a great central sun, bringing that clear light down into the heart. It's just an intention, up over your shoulders and out the palms. And eventually you can have it also come out your fingertips. I think I talked about that the other day. Thank you for explaining this to us. You're welcome. Well, I'm here for conversation, but I'm also here to help you believe and to know there's more to you than you thought there was. You know, I'm not here to whatever. I'm here to help you. God needs more people who have light, who are willing to be in service. That's the simplicity of it. And that can look different for every person. But the more that you can go in and begin to remember who you are, the more light we bring on the earth. And the more choices for everybody can be different. You know, sometimes you might look up and see rays of light coming down into our earth. They are real. They are real. And that's why the consciousness right now is much higher than it was, say, 20 years ago. They've brought a lot of light and they're continuing it. Because we are in a motion of the ascension, but we are all going to ascend together. It's not going to be individual. So, enough for today. I want you to be able to sit and think about it. And I'll be back tomorrow at 11. And if you have something you want me to talk on, all you have to do is let me know. I guess there's a commenting thing here with this. Or something, I guess, on my page once it goes over to YouTube. But it's all so exciting. You know, and miracles do happen. I don't know who of you I'm saying it for, but Miracles do happen. Okay. All right. So many blessings to all of you. May the heavens bless you today and whatever it is you may need. You're welcome, Canal. And we'll probably meet in the ethers tonight. How's that sound? You'd be surprised. Many blessings.